everybody, and in this video I'm going to show you how to graph a quadratic by its factored form. So right here we have a quadratic that's factored completely, and we can see that it has roots 3 and 5 because those are the values that make y 0. So if we want to graph this, we see that 3, for example, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So at 3, 0, this is one of the points of the quadratic, and 5, 0 is another point of the quadratic. And we don't know where the vertex is, but we want to find where the vertex is. So then we can completely graph this quadratic. So how do we do that? Well, we realize that there's an axis of symmetry in this quadratic parabola, whatever you want to call it. And it goes exactly through the middle of the two x-intercepts by symmetry. So the vertex is somewhere on this line right here that I just drew, and it's in the middle. So how do we find that value? Well, it's just the average of 3 and 5, which is 4. So the line that our vertex is on is x equals 4. And plugging x equals 4 back into this right here, and we can then solve for y. So we get 2 times 4 minus 3 times 4 minus 5. And this is equal to -2. So for our coordinates for our vertex is just 4, -2. And we're done with that part. And so then we basically found where the vertex is, 4, -2. So about here. And then we can just graph our parabola. So that's a really simple way of graphing a parabola just by looking at its factored form. And this form is also known as intercept form. And it's a really useful way because it's one of the easier ways to graph a quadratic, and then you can just use tables to make more points inside this this parabola. So what else can we do? Well, let's generalize this for a second. So imagine our quadratic is in the form a times x minus p times x minus q. So how do we solve for that? Well, we see its roots are p and q, so therefore the x-intercepts are p and q. And then what you do is, first you have to find the axis of symmetry. So axis of symmetry equals, it's just the average of p and q, which is p plus q over 2. So once we find the axis of symmetry, all we have to do is plug that back into x and then solve for y. And after that, you're basically done because you have the vertex and you have the two x-intercepts, so then you can graph your parabola. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I have another video on graphing quadratics, which is also a different method using completing the square and formulas and making formulas from that, so be sure to check that out. And thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed.